moving on, 2024 was a stellar year for precious metals. Gold rose a whopping 28%, which is the highest calendar year return that we have seen since calendar year 2010. And apart from that, silver too has rallied nearly 26% this year so far. Strong demand from central banks globally, escalating geopolitical tensions and increasing demand for safe haven assets is what led to the surge in precious metal market this year so far. Not just precious metals, several soft commodities too have had a fabulous year. On the flip side though, crude oil prices have declined by nearly 5%, led by demand concerns from China, which is the biggest importer of crude oil. 2024 was a good year for several commodities, but what does 2025 hold in store for us? To discuss all this and more, we now have Deveya Gaglani, Senior Research Analyst at Axis Securities, now joining us. Deveya, thank you so much for taking your time out and speaking with us here on ET Now on what the outlook is for 2025. And first up, let's talk about precious metals, because what a fabulous year we have seen when it comes to gold and silver, with returns of about 28% for gold, led by several factors, geopolitical tensions and relentless buying by central banks that we have seen. What is the outlook for 2025? Do you believe that the run-up that we have seen in 2024 is likely to continue in the next calendar year as well?
So as we discussed that 2024, it has been a very fruitful year for bullion investor. So in the COMEX market, prices rallied almost 25 to 30%, and in MCX we have seen a gain of around 20%. So if we step into 2025, so I feel that bullion will remain a preferred investment asset for the investor. So when it comes to portfolio diversification. So if we see historically, gold prices has delivered a consistent return in the time of uncertainty. So if we talk about 2025 per se, so the outlook remains constructive, but the sentiment as of now for bullion has weakened after the Fed monetary policy stance. So as of now, two rate cuts are projected in 2025. So with Trump officially taking the office on 20th Jan, so we may see that the dollar index, it can further go higher. So the upside, I feel that for gold in early 2025 will be limited, and we will not see much gains in gold and silver. So however, if we take into consideration the central bank buying, so in 2024 it was moderate. But if they go aggressive in 2025, if the central bank buying is more, and the geopolitical tension, if it escalates, then it will support the gold prices at the lower level. So the forecast for 2025 for gold prices, it remain subjective. So as we know that Trump was very vocal before the election that he will end the war between Ukraine and Russia, and also he will contain the tension that is going on around the world, the geopolitical tension. So if this thing happen, then the gold prices will not rally that much. The war premium that is right now for gold that we are seeing, it will go down, and in the first half of 2025, we'll see some correction in gold prices.
We could see some correction in gold prices. That's the word coming in as far as gold is concerned. But what about silver? Silver is not just considered a precious metal, but it also has several industrial uses now, with electric vehicles and solar coming in. Do you expect silver prices to rise in tandem with gold prices, or could they outperform in the next calendar year?
If we talk about silver, so silver is a unique commodity if we compare it with gold. So as it is used in industries as well as in a jewelry sector. So if we see historically, 60 to 70% of the time, silver price it moves in tandem with gold. But sometimes when industrial metals are not doing well, so that time we see that silver prices underperform gold. However, silver price if we see is undervalued as compared to gold. So this year we did see silver prices hitting 1 lakh mark in MCX. That's the all-time high. But in COMEX, the all-time high is around $48 to $49. So that level is not reclaimed yet. But I see that silver prices will play the silver as a commodity. It will play a pivotal role in the green energy technology. So the demand will increase in solar energy as well as in the EV production. So this will support silver prices. The volatility will be there in 2025, But if we consider all the negative and the positive factors that can affect silver prices as a whole, so we at Axis Securities, we are more bullish in silver as compared to gold. So for long-term investor, it offers a good buying opportunity who are bullish in green energy segment. So the best case scenario as of now in silver, we expect 25% upside from the current market price in MCX, that is around 110,000 rupees. And in COMEX, we expect the level around 36 to $37.
You expect silver prices to touch $36, $37 per ounce on the international markets by next year. But as far as crude oil is concerned, let's also talk about that. China, which is the biggest importer of crude oil, faced demand concerns in 2024, because of which crude oil prices actually declined by as much as 5% on a year-on-year basis. But do you expect that stimulus measures which have been now announced by China for next fiscal will lead to meaningful rebound in demand from China, especially crude oil demand?
So if we talk about the returns for crude oil, so in 2023 and 2024, we have seen a lackluster return in crude oil. So as we all know that people are talking about China all the time in 2024, but they didn't deliver as expected after announcing all the stimulus. So as you know that China is one of the biggest consumer of crude oil. So as long as the data that comes out, it doesn't improve, so then I feel that some challenges will be there in crude oil and the upside will be kept. But technically, if I speak, 65 to $80 is a broad range, and prices trading in this mentioned it from past few months. So this range will be there for 2025 as well. But I feel that crude oil prices, any major global event, if it happens in 2025, so it can cause a short-term fluctuation. But as of now, if I see that all the negative news in crude oil is already factored in, and if we consider the Trump administration, so they are like in favor for fossil fuel. So this is one positive news for crude oil. And any if OPEC plus country, if they announce the production cut, so it will support crude oil prices at the lower level. And if we also talk about the Fed policy, so they are expecting, means we are expecting two rate cut in 2025. So the low interest rate regime may boost growth for the oil, and I see some upside from here as long as $65 is intact on the downside.
So you expect crude oil prices to be in that range of $65 to $80 per barrel in next year as well. But OPEC Plus recently deferred resuming production cut revival by as much as 3 more months, and it will now be done in April 2025. Do you expect demand revival to actually kick in by then, or could it be deferred further in April as well? What are your estimates when it comes to OPEC Plus production?
I feel that they might shift that thing again in 2025 as well, because demand concern will remain in first half, because as you know that Trump will be like super hard on China, particularly on China. So the market will remain volatile that time, and crude oil and the demand side from China will be an issue. So I feel like OPEC, they will defer the production cut in 2025 as well.
So you expect OPEC Plus to defer the decision yet again in April, but a slightly longer term question, Deveya, then with focus now turning to green energy, decarbonization and cleaner forms of energy. Do you think the best of current crude oil cycle is perhaps behind us, and that crude oil demand could, languish over the next 10 or 15 odd years?
I feel that industrial metal will do well when it comes to green energy, because uh, when it comes to infrastructure development and industrial growth, uh, copper and aluminum, it plays a very pivotal role in that. And we have seen that the global investment is increasing in renewable energy and electrical vehicle also. So we expect that the metal pack will see a good demand in the long run. However, the China's slow recovery might affect prices in the short term. Also, Trump tariff policy on China may hurt the sentiment of copper in the short term. But for investor, metals like copper and aluminum, zinc is a great option, especially those who are looking to ride the green energy wave. So I feel that the best case scenario for copper in 2025, it will be around 900 rupees, and the bear case, it will be around 760 on the lower end.
So the outlook for industrial metals, the likes of zinc, aluminium and copper continues to remain very strong. Deveya, thank you so much for taking your time out and speaking with us here on ET Now and giving a sense of what 2025 could look like for several commodities. But
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.